Hello, Sheila here with Stampin' Wishes, and welcome to our Glitter Queen blog hop today. This month our theme is going to be Halloween. So today I'm making a box card. Well, it's a gift box card. I'm not really sure what the name of it is, but they've had them out for a couple of years, and I decided that this suite would be a perfect design for that. So we're going to be using today the designer series paper, the Troil and Trouble. I'm going to be using the black foil sheet for the spider web. We're using the ribbon for the bow on top of the box, and we're using our little spider trinkets. So let's go ahead and get started. To save time today, I have cut out and prepared everything pretty quickly, but I'll go through what I did and measurements, and they'll also be on my blog for details on the measurements, okay? So we've got, for the front, let's go with the card. It's 8.5 by 5.5. And then what you'll do is you'll line this up on your cutter at 1 inch on this side over here, and you'll cut down, and I cut down 1.5 inch. For the purpose of the box. Let me show you what we're making today. Okay, so I like mine not to fit down all the way this way, and that's why I cut it at 1.5 down instead of the 2 inches, which is the measurement of the box. But isn't this a cute card? Let me go ahead and take the box out so that you can see the inside as well. Now we're going to change this up a little bit today as far as the box goes. On this particular one, I had made this little handle with it, which came out really cute, but unfortunately, yesterday when I was filming this, I didn't realize I was out of frame the whole time, and so I'm re-recording it, and I've already used up all my little ghosts and other projects. So we're going to change the lid up a little bit, but this kind of gives you an idea, and I did it on both sides so that it would look uniform. Okay, so anyway, back to this. So you'll do it at the 1 inch, cut down 1.5 inches. Then you're going to move it over to your 2.5 inch and cut down 1.5 inches. And then when you turn it on your cutter, you're going to line it up, and you're going to cut 2 inches this direction at your 1.5 inch, and that will give you your little cutout. Now I will tell you, you should start with a good sharp blade, a new one, because if you don't, you'll get ragged edges. And as you can see, this is nicely cut, and this is what comes out of it here. Okay, so let's set this aside. This will be the front of it, and like I said, I'll either post up measurements a little after a while, or you can find them on my blog. But I cut out a piece of the designer paper that will take and adhere over into this. So let's go ahead and do that real quick and put that on. Make sure I'm staying in focus this time. Okay, and then let's go ahead and get this on top of the card. Okay, and then we're going to add one of the spider webs. Now I normally would have put an adhesive sheet behind it, but I'm out of my adhesive sheet, so we're going to use a little bit of glue to add this on. Okay. A little bit of a blob of glue there. We'll just wipe that off and let it dry. we'll hold that down for a second. The black foil sheet's a little bit thicker, so it takes a little bit to catch on. Okay, and so next we're going to go ahead and make the little sign that I made here. If you can see, what I did was to stamp the Happy Halloween with our basic gray, and I stamped it kind of like at an angle so that we can fuzzy cut around it, and then we're going to use a little bit of the Gorgeous Grape and shade around there, and we'll use some dimensionals to place it on. The way I did these particular danglers was to punch holes using my piercing tool, and then I thread it through. I'll show you how I did that here in a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and get us stamped out here. All right, looks good. So let's now go ahead and do some fuzzy cutting on it. And I'm just randomly cutting around it just to kind of give it a different kind of shape. So. And you do want to leave it enough at the bottom so that you can put your little tab holes there. So let's go ahead and put the holes in. That way while we're, when we do our piercing, if it won't interrupt with the color and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll put one about here and kind of make your hole a little bit bigger so that you don't have any trouble bringing the thread there. Let's see. You know what? No, I better not bring it into that area. Let's do it right here. Okay. Okay, so this area you're going to want to open up a little bit on these back holes because you're going to be bringing your thread back through again. All right, so let's go ahead and sponge up our little piece here. And you just need a little bit of color, not too much. Just to kind of bring out some of the other colors in the cardstocks and your box. Because of your little ghost in your box, have that little highlights of the purple and the greens and stuff in them. So, all right, let's wipe off that extra ink, and let's get us a. This is using the metallic threads. They come in several different colors, and I just love having access to these and all the different things that you can do, not only in embellishing your card with them, but also like projects like this. Okay, so we're going to get us a couple of the little spiders. Well, these are just so cute. I hope Stampin' Up! Will come up with some other little trinkets like this for us to use for other seasons as well. I just really enjoy these. Okay, we're going to bring it on through here. And what I like to do is loop it around. Let's see if I got it through the thread. Nope. Loop it around with 2 threads instead of the 1, just to kind of give it some strength and stability. And then I bring it through the front of the card this way. And then I'm going to bring it through the back of the card forward. And we probably could have done this by just dangling them from some dimensionals, but I just wanted it, again, the stability of it more than anything. So what I'm going to do is have them, when I finish this off, I'm going to have them at different heights dangling, so it looks like they're going down the web. So to do that, the way I've connected this one is, well, if I get the string in there, There we go. I'm just going to tie this off into a knot. Okay, let's see if we got the, yep, we got that little bit of a dangling going on here that I wanted to see. And we need to make sure that this is tied really tight, because I loosen it just a little bit at the beginning of it until I'm sure it's where I want it to be. And I think that's a good distance between them. So we'll go ahead and tighten that up. And we'll tie it one more time just for security. And I'm trying to stay in the frame of the camera. It's kind of hard because I put it, my husband helped me put in a new camera stand, and it doesn't come out quite as far towards me, and so I have to remember to work in instead of out. So, okay, so here's our little piece that's going to dangle. And we'll just, now we'll take and when we put our dimensionals on the back, it's going to stabilize those into the distance that we want. So let me get my dimensionals. Okay, we're probably going to put 3 of them on there. That way we know we're secure all the way across. Okay. Let's bring this one up just a little bit. It was hanging over the side. Take our backing off. And let's bring this on over here. And we're going to bring that up at an angle there. So isn't that precious? Let's make sure our spiders get turned around here the right way. There we go. And I'm going to leave them dangling. You could put a little glue dot if you wanted to, or even one of the mini dimensionals behind them if you want to, keep them straight. But I kind of like the effect of them dangling when they're on there. So, okay, so let's go ahead and put the inside of the card together real quick. And what we're doing here, and again, I'll give you the measurements, is I took one of the cutouts here, and I just wanted to kind of cut around it a little bit, and then we'll sponge it. Cut kind of close here, and then we're going to sponge around it to make it look like it's part of the background. Okay, let's go ahead and adhere this. And then what we'll do is come around with a little bit of sponging to make it blend with its background. Let's put that there. And get us some of our lemon lime twist. And we are going to put a second spider web up here. I didn't do it on the other cards, but I thought that would be a cute addition to it. So we're going to go ahead and do it on this one. So I just want to come in here and put a little bit of this around our object here and kind of just blend it into the background as though it's part of the designer paper. Okay, I think that looks good. So let's go ahead and leave it at that. Looks great. Okay, now let's go ahead and stamp our trick or treat. And we're going to do this at an angle. Go ahead and move it. We're going to do this at an angle right here. And so now this gives you room to write you a little note to whoever you're giving the card to and the treat. I was also thinking as I was making this card, these would make great placeholders for a table party because you could take and put, say, after dinner mints into the box and make it your colors and your theme for whatever holiday occasion that you're having the meal, and put the person's name on the outside of the place and decorate it. And I just think it would be a really nice thank you type card to them for coming, something that they can take home with them, as well as have some after dinner mints available to them in the box. So, okay, so there's that card. Let's go ahead and put our spider web on here. Let me And I know I'm probably out of frame here putting the glue on, but that way y'all don't have to watch. Adding that. Okay, let's see if we got enough here. Hopefully. I definitely will have adhesive sheets on my next order. I know that. After working with this and not having it. And we'll set this aside to dry. We don't want to close up on that. Okay, let me get me a wipe here to get this glue off my fingers so I don't get it all over the boxes. We're working with that because we're going to be using some more glue here on our boxes. Okay, so on our box, you're going to have a designer sheet of paper that is cut at 6 by 6, and then you cut up on the score, up to the score line in the center here and also here. And then you want to be sure and burnish your edges real well because you want a nice sharp squared box to fit into your little slit on your card. Let's go ahead and do that. And you can use liquid glue, you can use your tear and tape, any kind of adhesive that you're comfortable with. And I probably should have burnished these before I cut them, but I kind of got ahead of the game here, trying to save time. So let's go ahead and fold that in. I like to put the center and then get a nice squared effect to the back. If you feel like you need to trim any of it down, you can, but I found that it gives it a little bit more stability if you don't. So I would recommend that you don't. I'm going to go ahead for the sake of time and use the adhesive on it. Okay, nice little square. So let's go ahead and do the same thing here. Okay, this is an easy peasy 2x2 box to make, so you won't have any issues putting that together. And then that's going to fit up here into our little crevice. Let's see. So let's go ahead and leave that there. And now let's go ahead and put our lid together. This one is cut at 3 by 3, and then you're going to score a 1/2 inch all the way around, okay? And then I cut up on here and give it a little bit of a wedge just to help with the squaring off of the corners. And so let's go ahead and burnish the edges of it real well, and then we'll get our lid together and then add our bow and our little hat to it. In fact, we may want to do that while we've got it flat. Let's go ahead and do that. I think we'll add a dimensional to the ribbon. I thought we'd put a little hat on the top this time instead of a standing up ornament. We're going to do this one laying down, and I'll explain real quick if how I did this other one if you want to try something similar to it. And let's see, do I want to use a dimensional? or a glue dot. Let's go ahead and use a glue dot. That way we make sure it doesn't show underneath. Use a couple of them there to make sure we get it. Just love, love, love this ribbon. I'd like to have it in a bunch of different colors. And the fact that it has that stiffness, and I don't know if it has some of the wiring around the edges, but it sure makes shaping really nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and form our boxes here. And we're going to, again, I'm using adhesive, but normally I would use Tombow glue. And bring this on in here. And get us a nice little corner going there. And then the same thing on this side here. Let's get us a nice little squared corner. Okay. Okay. Squared corner there. And then yeah. Okay, and there's a beautiful little lid. So let's go ahead and put this on top of the box. Sometimes they can be a little bit snug when you first start working with them, but that's okay. You don't want them falling off. So let's go ahead and get this in. And something I also found that in doing the lid, if you give it just a slight under the 1.5 inch mark, it will give your lid just a little bit of extra space. But here's our finished box and our card, and here's the other one that we did. Show you the difference between them. And also on here, what I did was to take from our paper, gosh, I went blank there, paper pumpkin, and I took To The Ghost out. I put some purple, if you'll notice in its eyes, I took some purple and put between the two of them. I cut out 2 of the cauldrons with the bundle, and then I took, it's kind of like a 3.5 inch piece of a 1/2 inch strip, and I folded it in half and then made 2 little prongs at the bottom of it, put a little slit in the top of the lid. You can't see it because I covered it with another piece of deal, and put that down there kind of like a brad would be, and I glued those to the end, covered that little area with another piece of cardstock here, and that's how I made the little, so you might think of different handles when you're doing different, you know, out of your themes for whichever project you're working on, and make your little handle for it. So anyway, thank you for stopping by our blog hop, and I hope you have a blessed day and happy stamping. Thank you.